don't think I was hosting anybody, so it should be good, but let's double check just for funsies.
You're showing live.
Hooray! All right. Hi, Stream.
Lovely.
Welcome to this evening. I know we haven't played in a while. Have we played in a while? Did we play last week?
Yes.
Well, we
Kind
did
of.
the
Chatty
chat.
chat.
Right, we did the chatty chat thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
All the RP.
Yeah, that was fun. That was we did a
really
character check-in. Yeah. So why doesn't somebody share what they think happened last time?
Last session or last
Week.
Last session.
Well, we talked about stuff.
You did talk about stuff. Yes. Anything else you want to share
We
with Stream?
discussed what we all felt about each other in character.
Yes.
Yep. With some pretty interesting things that'll come to a head at some point, I think.
Yeah, it was interesting to see everybody's insight into different characters. I get the sense that Relic is not very well liked.
Aww.
Except by Marthala, and he was kind of a chode to her.
Oh.
Hey,
To be fair,
hey,
apparently
he's
Martha
complicated.
He is very
Yeah,
complicated.
apparently.
That's
I mean,
true.
She doesn't not like anyone.
Now she does.
Oh,
No.
Okay. Does anybody remember what happened the time before that?
Quentin is a drunken little bitch.
There it is.
Boom.
got shwasted.
Was waiting for that one.
So there was some real good whiskey.
Yep.
You're gonna be mayor.
Yep, I'm trying to run for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And Quentin ran off to go check out the Tresindar Manor by himself at night.
Yep.
But everybody followed him except for Marthal and Relic.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yep.
And then at the beginning of last session, I said y'all went back to the inn so we could do think thought
Yeah, we
experiments. So I think, well, I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want to have met back at the inn that evening, or would you like to have met back at the inn and we're waking up tomorrow morning? If it'll just change how I run the NPCs, basically.
Oh.
I think the morning is a good time to
Morning?
come
Yeah.
I think
downstairs.
morning is better.
Okay, morning it is.
Agreed. Should we all mark off long rests at this point then?
Then you should all mark off long rests. Thank you. All right. So
Hooray.
you are waking up in the Stonehill Inn, which is run by Trillana and Toblin Stonehill. Remember, Toblin was the one that made that honey whiskey that knocked Quentin on his butt. And they've got a little boy named Tiff, I think. Pip. His name's Pip. Whatever. And yeah, they've got a little boy named Pip. And the beds that you slept in were fairly comfortable, but and there don't seem to be any bugs or anything. And the town wasn't too rowdy. It sounded like there was a kerfuffle going on across town of the tavern variety. But this inn was pretty quiet. They cater more to food, drink, and actual boarders than the rowdiness. And yeah, so you all wake up. And what does everybody do when they wake up? Hiccup. What are y'all doing?
Relic, having thought at least that he smoothed things over with Marthala, is going to just go downstairs, all happy now, to get his what's that thing that they have to get signatures on signed?
Petition.
Petition?
There we go. Thank you. Get his petition signed so that he can become a mayoral candidate.
Got it. So you head down the stairs, and as you get to the bottom, Trilina catches sight of you. She's rummaging around behind the bar, And she says, "Oh, good morning to you. Would you like some breakfast? Remember, it's included in the price of the room."
Oh, right then, definitely. I'll take some bacon. And some coffee.
And she says, "Sure enough. Just give me just a tick." And she yells for Pip, and he pokes his head in the front door while she's looking out the back, and then he grins and ducks his head back around the door when she looks out the front door. And she yells his name again and looks out the back door, and he pokes his head in, and he holds up a finger to you, Relic, because you're watching this happen. And she stomps around the bar like, "Where is that young man?" And she goes to the front door, and you see him appear at the back door. And then he puts one finger over his mouth again, like, "Shh," and he sneaks up. He's sneaking up on his mom. And then he goes, "Boo!" And she jumps up in the air and she says, "I've told you a million times you get out, get her." She's, but she's laughing, and she ushers him off to go get firewood or something, and she's catching her breath, and she's like, "Goodness me, that young man's gonna scare the devil out of me." And she laughs and she says, "So sorry for all those shenanigans. Let me just head out back, and do you think your friends will be down soon? And do you think they'll want something similar? I've got some eggs as well."
Oh, most definitely. They're often a hungry bunch, and just to now his normal circumstance would be to say put it on Quentin's tab.
Yep.
But he's actually gonna say, "And you know what? Put it all on my tab."
And she
Oh wait,
says,
it was all included in the rooms. That's
Yep.
right.
So yeah, definitely.
Never mind. Forget I made that generous gesture.
and
Marthala,
she says, "Well, that's mighty kind of you." Marthala says,
Marthala will probably come downstairs. She's an early riser. Noting that Brannon is the only other party member currently around, she'll probably do her best to catch the young lady far away, like as far away from Relic as humanly possible. And she's actually gonna ask if there's any ale around.
Trulina pauses for a moment. She kind of looks you up and down, and she says, I can tap a pint. Is there something ailing you? I've got some medicinals if you need any."
I don't really think that's any of your business, dear.
And she
Please
says,
just get me the ale.
My dear, pardon me. I was only trying to help. I'll go fetch you some ale right away. Would you like any food with that at all?
No.
Of course. One moment. And she heads back into the kitchen, and you can hear bacon frying. And she pops back out, and she taps a pint. And she brings it around the bar. Are you sitting at the bar, and Relic is sitting at a table?
No, I am standing.
You're standing, like at the foot of the staircase?
To go back upstairs as soon as she hands me the ale.
Got it. She brings it right back over to you, and she says, "Here you go, my dear. If you need anything else, you just let me know."
Right. Thank you.
And
She'll head back upstairs.
as you start to head back up the stairs, she says, "I think you're staying in the room right above the kitchen. So if you just want to tap your foot 3 times on the floor, real loud like, if you need anything, I can come up and bring you anything."
Right. Thank you.
Sure thing. And she heads back into the kitchen. You probably notice that she seems a little concerned, but in like a mothery way, like she's like holding in mothering instincts. And so she's back in the kitchen. What's everybody else doing?
Probably going over my notes, heading downstairs with my nose in a book.
Okay. So you see Relic downstairs. He's sitting at a table, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, do you guys interact or just plop down at the table, Harlock?
I mean, I'll plop down at the table and have my nose in a book. I mean,
Great.
I took the liberty of ordering you some breakfast. All right then.
No response from Harlech?
Oh, sorry.
That
Right
book
button.
must be fascinating.
I said, "Ha! How unusual," and I go back to reading.
All right, how about Brandel and Quentin and Druge? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'll go and grab some breakfast.
Okay, so you head down. There's a nice sturdy stool over in the corner that you can drag over to the table if you'd like.
Yeah. Sounds good.
As you come down the stairs, Trilina pokes her head out and she's like counting, and she ducks back in, and she brings out a wooden platter, and it's got bacon on one side and eggs on the other. And it's steaming. It's a little chilly in here. The fire's died down a little, so you can see like this stuff is hot and delicious. And she slides it onto the table, and she slides some smaller wooden, like, they're not quite plates, but something to eat off of. And as she's doing this, Pip comes in the front door, and he's staggering under a pile of firewood, and he drops it next to the hearth with the loudest of clatters. And his his mother starts scolding him, and he's grinning at her, like, and she's like, I can't stay mad at you, and she can't even, because he's scamp, yes, exactly. And she thank you, yes. And he's making faces at her and stuff, and she keeps laughing, and she's like, get the fire going. So he starts stirring up the fire and adding, he's putting the logs in there in a pattern that will catch, so like it'll start burning over time, so it'll keep burning for longer. And he's feeding like sticks in there and stuff to get the fire going a little hotter. And when he's done with that, he starts stacking up the firewood next to the fireplace, and then he brushes everything into the fireplace. And it's a very neat little tavern, or little inn. It's obviously worn and has been here for a while, but it's obviously nicely kept. So there's and she says, are the other two coming down soon? Because I can start up another batch. And she says, this isn't going to hold the three of you. I'll just go get started. And she heads back to the kitchen. How's Quentin and Druge doing?
Druge is usually the early riser of the two of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And normally he would have been down by now, but I think he's still kind of in babysitting duty mode for Quentin. So he's going to hang out and make sure that he's not super hungover and doesn't need to be carried downstairs.
Okay.
Don't think that's up to me.
Roll me a constitution check, Quentin.
Ah, goddammit. Alright.
We're not in combat. You might do just fine.
You might.
Yeah.
Well,
you're
I
right.
did roll a 7. Plus 1 is an 8.
You've got quite the head on you. You open your eyes, and it feels like something died in your mouth. And the light is lancing into your skull, and your head feels 3 times too small, but stuffed into the same skull. And, Quentin, it's very obvious to you that he's got quite the headache. And as you start to sit up, you are also a bit nauseous as well.
Neat. So I'll kind of put my hand over, like, the back of my wrist over my eyes, and put my hand out and try and feel around for the pup.
He is actually tucked up right where you slept at a weird angle because he was like on your pillow, and you realize he's about twice the size he was yesterday. He's still kind of skin and bones, but he is much bigger. So before he was about the size of a bread box. He was about, if he'd been all fleshed out, he would have been about 20, 30 pounds, but he was skinny as hell. Now he looks like like if he were all fleshed out, he'd be about 40 or 50 pounds. He's getting big.
All right.
And his paws don't look as huge on him anymore. He looks like he's grown into his paws, yeah. Cool. And as soon as you wake up, his tail starts whapping, and that noise is the worst. And he starts licking your ear, and you're like, ugh.
I just kind of bury my face in his neck and try and pick him up and stand up.
You are a bit dizzy.
Can I kind of like put him towards my center to try and kind of keep my center of balance?
He's sort of wiggling, like he
Good.
wants to be put down. He's not being helpful, but he's just trying to lick your entire face.
All right, I'll let him down.
He scampers right over to the door and he does like little circles.
Hmm.
Did you name this thing yet?
I haven't gotten to that.
Druge, you have any reaction to the obvious hungoverness of this human? Or elf, whatever you are, humanoid.
Kind of watch him struggle for a while. Partially out of amusement and partially because he thinks he kind of deserves it. And just be like, did you learn any lessons?
I'll get back to you on that.
As much as it is possible for Loxodon to roll his eyes, that is what happens.
I feel like there's some frustrated ear flapping, maybe.
And he'll just kind of hold his trunk out for Quentin to hang on to and pull him to his feet.
Yeah, I'll take it and stand up and follow him down the stairs.
Druge is very helpful. So as you guys are getting to the bottom of the stairs, there's a new platter of wooden platter of bacon and egg. As soon as you open the door, that dog is out that door like a whip, and you hear somebody, you hear a deep voice say, "Hey now, is that pup that was?" And you hear Trilena say, "Oh yeah, that's the one. That's Shauna cannot talk today." Trilena says, "Yep, that dog's with them. I can hear him come down now." And the dog scampers outside, like just runs straight out the door.
Don't go too... No, alright.
So you get to the foot of the step, and that bacon does not smell good to you at all. And Trilena, she gets a look at your face, and she's like, "Oh, and she turns around and starts shaking a finger in her husband's face, Toblin, and she's like, "You see what you did? Listen, paying." And she turns back around and she's like, "And you sit." And she stomps off, muttering, and "I'll bring you something." She's
Kind of chuckle.
Yeah, she's
How obvious is it that he isn't not doing well?
pretty obvious.
I would like to take the entire plate of bacon and thrust it right up under his nose. I got your breakfast, mate. Come on, sit down, grab an egg or two.
Now, I, as a human being and the player has never been this hungover.
I don't think so.
No, I can tell you, I've definitely not.
Okay.
It's something you remember
Aaron
pretty
has
well.
never been this hungover.
That must be nice.
Might have
So,
to fix that for you.
A life of good choices.
Yeah.
You can make non-alcohol related bad choices, just to be clear.
That's true. I was about to make a self-deprecating joke, but I'm holding it in.
Proud of you.
Thanks. So Trilita comes back out and she plomps down like a fat little mug in front of you, and it is steaming, and it's a weird green color, and it does not smell good. And she says, "You're going to plug your nose, and you are going to drink that down all in one go. And then you'll feel right as rain." And Toblin peeks his head over his shoulder, and he says, "She's got the best hangover cure this side of the mountains. You best do it, boy."
I do it. I just plug my nose and kind of cheers with the mug and just down it.
Roll me another Constitution check.
Good. It's a different die this time. Oh, that's a little better. That's 19.
A little better, and you have a 19
I thought it was
total.
a 13. It's a 19.
So you plug your nose and you drink it down, and it's sludgy, but it goes down fast because it's hot, and you can't really taste it, and you get you can kind of taste enough to get the feeling that it's good that you can't really taste it. And you set the cup back down, and she peers at you, and she says, "How you feeling?" And you feel 100% better. It feels like you slept an entire night, and you feel oddly energized.
It's so hard to not make a joke about a colored bowl right now.
That's actually
better.
a terrible idea if you're hungover.
Red Bull? Yeah, I assumed. Yep, better. Yep.
And she's like, "All right, now you're gonna eat a healthy portion of this eggs and this bacon, or in about an hour, that's gonna come right back up again." And she scoops a nice big portion of bacon and eggs onto a piece of wood, and she hands it to you, and she goes, "Eat up now." And then she turns around and keeps, she's puttering, she's cleaning and stacks. She's bringing out the mugs that are clean and the whole bit. So the 5 of you are down at the table, all eating breakfast, and Marthala's still up in her room. What do you guys do?
Druge
might,
is kind of grabbing whatever is left of the eggs.
There's plenty of eggs. Like she brings out a third platter when you guys come down. She takes the
grab
empty
another
platter
bag.
back. This is about enough food for you guys. Like you're comfortably full. She's not overfeeding you.
I would like to keep pushing eggs and bacon over towards Quentin. And then, Druge, would you... Marthala's acting a little bit strange this morning. She came down and grabbed a thing of ale, and I don't think she wants to talk to me. Might you want to give a shot to talking at her?
I was wondering where she was at. Sure. And he'll put together a plate of bacon and eggs and whatever coffee equivalent is around.
Yep, there's coffee on the table, yeah.
Carry that all upstairs and knock on her door with a trunk.
Marthala will come to the door. It'll take her a minute. She'll come to the door and just like crack it a little bit, and she'll do that thing that like little kids do when they enter the door, where they like they hold it so half of their face is hidden. And they'll kind of like lean into the edge of the door. It's really obvious that she's upset. Like her eyes are sort of red and teary, and you can smell the booze on her breath. She's having a rough morning.
Good. He'll kind of lean down to her height a little bit and hold out the plate and say, Brannon seemed a little worried about you, and considering the hour and the amount of ale, I am a little too. You should eat.
She'll look at the food and then at Druge, and what had started off as a look of annoyance on her face will probably soften a little bit. She'll take the plate and just kind of look at Druge and say, "Thanks, I'm not really feeling too good right now."
About something in particular?
I think you know what it's like to feel like a monster when you're surrounded by people who don't think that you're the same as them. But I never thought I'd see that expression on his face.
And he'll kind of cock his head a little bit, and the ears will flap, and yeah, I know the feeling. You wanna sit here and eat? You want company?
No, I think he needs you. I can't be there.
I think he can manage all right.
Thank you for checking on me. I appreciate the breakfast. You're right. I should eat something. And she'll. Is his trunk still up? Like he's been knocking on the door, or has he sort of like let it fall?
He's let it fall since he's kind of bent over to be about her height.
Okay. Marthala will sort of reach out and squeeze his trunk like you would like a friend's forearm, and go back into her room and softly shut the door.
Okay.
And Druge will kind of sigh and head downstairs.
All right, what are y'all getting up to downstairs? Are Brandel and Harlock doing anything or just observing / reading?
Waiting for the congregation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brandel, Quentin, what are you up to? Relic?
So I think.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, you. I'm just tormenting you, to be honest.
Just, yeah, so Relic is very concentrating on tormenting Quentin.
I'm just trying to make
Got
me
it.
vomit.
The puppy actually runs back in, and at this point it's less of a puppy and more of like a young dog. And it sits right at your feet, and its tail is going back and forth as fast as a blur, and he is looking from you to the bacon, to you, to the bacon, to you, to the bacon, to you, to
Oh,
the
like
bacon.
nothing is moving but its tail.
And his eyes just like, his nose doesn't really move. It's like pointed like somewhere between Quentin and the bacon, and his eyes just keep going back and forth.
And I think I'll just kind of like bring the plate to the edge of the table and kind of like looking the other way, just tip it so the bacon starts sliding off.
If
I'll wait for the mom to not notice.
as uncreepily as possible, it's as if like the bacon disappears as if it has fallen into a black hole.
That tracks.
And he appears to still want more. Like he is definitely acting like he's starving to death, and you know he isn't because you've been feeding him, but he's acting like it.
He's also grown a bunch, so
That's true.
Any like breakfast potatoes or anything? Like I'll have
She
some of
just brought out
those.
bacon and eggs.
Anything starchy? Okay. I'll slip him some eggs.
There's probably some bread on the table too.
Yeah, I'll be munching probably on the starchier end of things. I would assume something that soaks. Fill my belly up and say, so we made it up to the ruins last night, and there was something going on up there.
Oh, really? You could tell that from the state you were in.
Yeah. Yes. Some of us are.
Yeah, have some eggs.
All the time.
You're not feeling nauseous anymore. You're actually feeling really good.
Oh, I'm aware. But I don't know what Relic is.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Sorry.
Give me your hat. Give me your hat. Give me your hat.
Oh, I have a hat. Get out of here. Go
Then
throw
go
up
get
outside.
one. And I'll just kind of straighten up. Yeah, we there was something going on up there. A bunch of jackals, it sounded like. Does that seem right for this area?
Jackals?
Yeah.
Do I know if that would seem right for this kind of area?
I don't know if you guys. No, didn't I say some of you have been through here?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a nature check.
I don't know. Were Druge and Quentin the ones who had been here before?
I think it was Druge and Quentin, yeah, because of that side path, I think.
Right. Well, that's